What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to the Tuffy Talk live show. We are back and we are rolling once again. And we got Kens as well. What up, Kens?
Hey,
Hey.
how's everybody doing?
Doing beautiful, doing beautiful. Yep, we are rocking and rolling. We are live and we're excited to get to it as we have a ton to get to, y'all. But as always, we got myself, Wade Smith, here with Macon Adams, Michael Tracy, and Mackenzie Blackwater here with you here today. If you've been with us before, you know the drill. But if you haven't been with us before, make sure to get any thoughts, comments, questions, concerns that you have. Make sure to put them in the chat, and we will make sure that we get to them. But as always, we got Michelle and Rusty here even before we even went live in the comment section, which we appreciate y'all. And yeah, definitely got to give a big shout out to our main man, Greg Legg, who's actually just got on his flight back from Hawaii as we speak. So huge shout out to Greg for streaming the games in Hawaii to, let Wolfpack Nation be able to keep up, watch the games. I mean, obviously we know that we're not ESPN, we're not ABC, we're not going to give you all the angles and the replays and the 4K, quality, but hey, listen, it did the job, and huge shout out to Greg for his commentating, and thought he did a great job with it. So I appreciate all y'all tuning in and all your support of it. It was really awesome and a huge success. But with that being said, though, it's kind of funny, as for the first time in a while, we're actually going to start a new, let's call it a new segment per se. It kind of goes along with our Tuffy's Weekly Rewind, but it's kind of funny because these two topics we're going to be discussing here to start kind of fit into one category. And so without further ado, the name of this new segment is going to be
what really grinds my gears?
What really grinds my gears.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And you all know what really grinds my gears.
I could not believe that just happened.
None of us knew that was happening.
That wasn't one that I was. I was.
You know what really grinds my gears?
You know what really grinds my gears.
I feel like the one thing needs to be added in that you go.
Well, but anyway. So with that being said,
you know what really grinds my gears?
And that, first of all, is definitely got to be all this conversation around court storming. With John Shire and the Wake Forest thing. Like,
I'm just gonna say, if we beat Duke, I'm court storming. So I expect y'all to come with me.
Yeah, they had back in 2013 or 2014, whenever State beat Duke from the court, they had the guy in the wheelchair.
That got trampled.
It became like a role. But like all of a sudden now it's a thing.
Yeah, it wasn't a big deal when he did it. He got.
Yeah, I think it's a bunch of crap. Personally, I mean, I get it. I get people like, oh, we safe. To me, it comes across like a sore loser.
Yeah, but yeah, let us know in the chat, y'all, what your thoughts are of court storming. But yeah, I mean, and Matthew said it best right here to start off. That's perfect to of what makes college sports great. I mean, that's a big piece of it, no doubt. Yeah, no, absolutely. But also, here's the main thing which I'm gonna talk about. Besides, and we'll talk about just the pageantry behind court storming. But let's just be clear here. Like, at the end of the day, if 5,000, 10,000, whatever students, fans, whatever want to storm the court, they're going to storm the court. It's just what's the repercussions of it? You're not going to stop them. Now, the one thing you can do is you can have better measures in place. Like, I do agree with Shai with the fact that, the clock did not read 0.0 when the fans got on the court. There was like less than a second left, but but basically what I'm saying is like, there could have been better measures in place, ropes up, things like that to, let the Duke players get off the court. But also, too, as well, we can also talk a little about Filipowski about, maybe instead of just watching the Wake Forest students come your way, maybe jog a little bit towards the locker room and get out of the way. Part A, reason part A. But also, too, man, like, you're 7 feet tall, 260 pounds, man, like. And then, like, even today about John Shire, because the original report came out was, he had a sprained ankle. But then today it was, oh, wait, I misspoke. It's actually his knee, and there's a little knee soreness today. He's not sure if he's going to be practicing today.
They're going to milk this dude to be like.
They didn't even do, they said no imaging done.
So I'm fine if they
couldn't have been that bad.
Monday. Like, if he doesn't play next Monday, I'm perfectly fine with that. Wish him the best. I hope happy healing after that. But
sure. Yeah, no. I mean, it always sucks when somebody gets hurt for sure. But I mean, again, first of all, but whatever, again, okay, it was in discomfort due to
the thing is like what I see at state that I don't see in a lot of other places is even with football, you see security people in neon everywhere around the student section. Like they're prepared for a storming. They'll tell you either you have to go to for basketball, you have to go behind each goal. Like you can't just come out the sides. So I mean, I do see where Wake Forest could have had better, like the administration could have done better with that. But I mean, Wake Forest beat the number 8 team in the country.
Right.
That doesn't happen very often at Wake Forest. So, no. I mean, they're going to do it. Just let them at this point.
Well, and the one thing too is that it is an interesting thing that actually the ACC is the only conference that doesn't have a fine whenever teams storm the courts. Now, typically for most of the other conferences, I think the fine's probably like $50,000 or something like that. And so I mean, you set up a GoFundMe and the fans will help pay it off, and it'll just get swept under the rug. And again, like if I have to as a school pay $50,000 to beat a top 10 team in the country, especially right now, I'm paying it. There's no doubt we're in on it. So no, I mean, like again, like people are saying, well, you got to get rid of it. Like fans don't belong on the court. Well, it's not a matter of them belonging on the court. It's them getting it's the players getting the opportunity to celebrate with the fans that were a big piece in helping pull off such a huge upset win. Now, I kind of caveat that a little bit by saying Wake Forest was basically almost a pick'em game, actually. Like I think Duke was maybe favored by like 2. Oh, were they?
No, Wake was favored. Yeah.
So I mean, like in terms of actually favored, not much there, but I think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that I mean Wake Forest, good team this year. I think honestly has gotten disrespected a ton by the Joe Lunardi and all that jazz, and so they finally put that stamp in. So I think it's still rightfully deserved in my opinion, because it's like daggone right. Like what you gonna say now?
They're undefeated at home. Like that's another huge thing in college basketball. Like that doesn't happen often. But you notice how it's the people that either played or coached at schools like Duke, Kentucky, Carolina that have a problem with it.
Oh yeah.
Like y'all don't experience court stormings. Just let us do what we want and have fun while we do it. Mind your business. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. And Mackie, I want to bring you into the conversation after I touch on a couple of comments here real quick. That Carson saying court storming is already illegal. It's just impossible to enforce. Exactly.
Yeah, technically it's
technically it's not allowed, but
arrest everybody.
But then Rusty throws out this interesting thing, and Mackie, I want to get your thoughts here. How about a 10 or 15-second countdown to storm? Give players time.
It won't matter. It won't matter.
Yeah.
If they're storming, they're storming. I mean, to me, what they could have done, and this is the only issue where you couldn't avoid it is, I mean, I don't know, like, was it? I can't remember. Was it like the last shot that won it for them, or was it like they had time?
They had time.
Like to me, it's like
it wasn't kind of like last shot.
Yeah, I think it's like you probably know it's coming, so why don't you just get out of the way? So
like you can literally see the students like start to creep up, like
a little bit,
and and like you just have to have a better way to protect the players at that. Like the Wake staff was severely either undermanned or didn't do a good job, because I mean I know
or didn't care.
It was right at the buzzer, but there were kids on the court before it was at 0, so that can't happen. You have to at least give them that much time.
Yeah, I agree with Drew though. Like a countdown, like my experience when we rushed the court against Duke my junior year, like if you have a countdown, it kind of doesn't ruin it, but it just like you want to get out there with those guys as fast as you can. Like you want to be organic, party along right with them. So I'm not really going to be watching the clock to wait for 10 seconds to then run out. Like I feel like that takes away the excitement about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. No, and again, I mean, keep in mind that like just like y'all were saying, the reason why this is really getting brought up is because it happened to Duke, who's again one of the biggest, arguably top 5, top 3 college basketball programs in the country. And then it also happened a situation earlier with one of the most exciting players in sports right now, in Caitlin Clark with Iowa, where she got hit in the face by, I think it was an Iowa State fan, but on accident, whatever. So again, it's and again, it's just the build up, and it's just because of who it
Yeah.
happened to, you know. So
Yeah.
it to me it holds no water. Like, okay, fine, yeah, I think it's only a matter of time until the ACC puts in a fine for court storming, but
Yeah.
let's
It
be real,
still
y'all.
won't do anything,
I
honestly.
think
No.
it's just a big. I think it's a big joke, personally. Actually.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you know, Rusty asking an interesting question. Just curious, have any of y'all had the joy of rushing a court or field? I can't imagine the rush. And I
The
will
best
actually,
experience ever.
Yeah.
Two field rushes my senior year, and then and a court storm. Best
Well,
experience.
and so Mackenzie, you're talking about Clemson 2021, and then UNC 2021, and then basketball
And then
for
Duke was, so we beat them by 22. So my
Right.
junior year, that was 2019, I think.
Yeah. But I will say it's an interesting thing. I actually have not stormed either the football field or the basketball court.
Oh.
Honestly, I've always been a kind of, for me for the football side, it's more because I mean, being first of all,
You were already on the
former
field.
You're already out
manager,
there, yeah.
I've been on the field, like, you know,
I'd
been there,
rather
done
be in
that.
the locker room anyway, partying.
Well, but also too, like, I just love to watch it. Like, it's so cool to watch.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
like watching like my face reaction, like watching like the fans go on the field. Like, it's the cool. Like, I know Macon, I think you were up top in your seats for the Clemson game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
when
I was.
we pulled the big win, and like your video from like up top, like, oh, like it
Yeah.
doesn't get any better. Like there's not many cooler moments in sports in general than seeing something like that. It's awesome.
It's the best.
Yeah. So again, doesn't hold much water, not sweating it whatsoever. If there's a fine that comes, you know, that's put in place for AC, whatever, so be it. Anyway, so moving on to our next thing that
really grinds my gears.
and that's first of all,
That's so
I'm
funny.
I'm sure that a lot of people maybe haven't seen a lot of the insides of what's going on with the men's ACC championships, but one of the biggest pieces of news that I've seen, this was actually from Corey Smith, was this news that came out of NC State swimmer Owen Lloyd, who was disqualified after winning the 1650 meter freestyle at the ACC championships. So he actually won the ACC title, but was disqualified due to entering another swimmer's lane. Which keep in mind that that person is his teammate. That teammate had already finished, and he was trying to celebrate. And so we actually have the clip of it right here. So let's check it out here.
For you, congratulations on one hand. Do you have any idea what happened and your emotions right now?
I think that's the dumbest rule in swimming. Owen beat me fair and square. He should be on that total podium. He was excited. That's a huge win for him, right? He earned that. And that's his emotion, right? That's what we get in the sport of swimming when we do well. We train all year for a moment like that, and to have him disqualified, I think, is the dumbest thing ever.
Do you mind
he works so hard every day. He is going to be on that #1 trophy. I am not going to stand up there.
Ross, do you mind if I ask you what rule did he break? We haven't even heard of up here.
Whenever you win, you're not allowed. Well, the other swimmers are still swimming. You have to stay in your own lane. You're not allowed to jump or cross over the lane line into someone's lane. And in his celebration, which he earned, he came over to my lane.
Oh my God.
No, he earned that fair and square. He will be getting that medal.
Ross, well done.
Thank you, Ross.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending some time with us, giving us the insight there on that technical ruling.
You can hear the crowd.
So there was still a lot of time. They were over 50 yards ahead of most of the combatants, and this is the point we're talking about with this technicality.
But that's what you do when you win. I'm sorry. Listen, there's not a lot of rules that I have a problem with.
So yeah, again, all that first and foremost, y'all. I mean, I got to give a huge shout. First of all, before my heart goes out to Owen Lloyd, I got to give a huge shout out to Ross Stantho, man. Like
That
dude,
is the definition of a teammate right there, honestly.
Oh, totally. Like every single parent, every single coach, every single teammate should strive for having a team culture like that. To have a teammate like fully just not even sugarcoat it. Just like, I don't care if I get in trouble. I don't care. Like, at the end of the day, justice is justice, right is right, truth is truth. And at the end of the day, anything that you saw right there, and for those listening in, basically the problem was that the race was not completely over yet, and basically Owen got up on one of the divides and basically just like sat on the divide and was just like taking it in. He was just taking the moment in. I just won an ACC individual title, and keep in mind, like, there was no showboating, there was no like taunting, like there was nothing like that.
I
The
mean,
only problem was that the race wasn't completely over yet.
Yeah.
Who was it? Who was it? Who was it affecting? Is the question. Who did
Nobody.
it impact?
Yeah.
Nobody.
exactly. Like, that's
Nobody.
your teammate. I get it if it's a different school and you fall into their
Maybe.
lane after doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I get that. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
that's a version of taunting. But I mean,
Sure.
you literally watch the video and he's hyping him up as he's sitting there. Like,
Yeah.
that's what teammates do. That's what you see that in the Olympics whenever they win a swim or win a. I don't even know what they say. Win what? What is it?
A race.
When, a
Race,
race, yeah,
yeah.
win the race, yeah.
Every time. So it's like, that breaks my heart for him because like you work your life off for that to get a championship, and then he's gonna get that medal, but it's gonna haunt him. So
Yeah, there's always gonna be a little asterisk on it. Well,
Yeah.
you didn't technically win it, which sucks.
let's put that in.
So, yeah, 100%. So anyway, y'all. So that is the official end of it really grinds my gears segment there. But
That was so funny.
I know at least Macon will enjoy us bringing up that segment every
Like next
every
episode,
week.
next show, we need to have him. What's the guy's name? Family guy. I'm blanking on his name.
You got
Lewis Griffin. Lewis Griffin. We need to have
Griffin.
Lewis Griffin having
Lois.
The what?
Who's Lewis
Peter
Griffin?
Peter Griffin. Peter Griffin. Duh.
Peter Griffin. Lewis
Peter,
Griffin.
we need to have him. We need to have him get his laugh on there. Where he goes.
Okay. I'll get right to work
That's
on
the
that.
next one.
Yeah.
See, I
But-
don't watch the show, so there you go.
Lewis Griffin.
yeah, Lewis Griffin. Like, who's Lewis? Yeah. Anyway. Alrighty, y'all. So with that being said, let's jump on over real quickly some Tuffy's mailbag. Here we go. Alrighty, so let's get out a full screen layout real quick there. There we go. Now we're back. So we'll kind of talk a little bit more about it in general, but wanted to make sure to get to mailbag questions here first. So the first question, with the start of spring practice tomorrow, who do you predict will break out in spring practice?
Just one person?
well, here's my thing. All right, so here's one thing I want to add. So obviously the word breakout is always a very subjective thing. Like, what is break? Like I think Noah Rogers could be, like, some people could consider Noah Rogers as a potential breakout person, but it's like, well, but that's not really like a shocker. Like, I think everybody's expecting Noah Rogers, but he hasn't done anything. Like, he hasn't really played college football yet. So technically I could still justify that as breaking out. So like for me, like if you ask me who do I think is going to be the breakout, for me it's going to be Jalen Scott. I think wait, am I saying the right guy? I'm sorry. The running back. Jaden Scott. Thank
Duke
you.
Scott.
Yeah.
Duke Scott.
Yeah, Duke Scott. Jaden Duke Scott. That's right. Yeah, my guy. Yeah, Duke. Yeah, I'm excited about him, man. I think he is going to be an explosive playmaker for us. I think he's going to be getting a good amount of touches this year. I know you still got, right now a somewhat crowded backfield, not really, but somewhat. But I think Duke is going to be a part of the rotation this year. I think he's really going to stand out in spring ball. So, but yeah, I mean, Ken, it's 1, 2, however you want to answer it.
I mean, this is a hard question to answer because I don't really consider anybody quote unquote breaking out. I feel like a lot of the guys that we have right now have already like broken out of their shell and have already they're already kicking ass, honestly. So like I don't think that there's one guy that I feel like is gonna come off and be like, oh wow, I didn't know he had that in him, if that makes sense. I'm excited to see all the transfers and all the freshmen. I'm ready to see them actually get to see what it looks like when they're on a college field and in our uniform. So, but I don't have a special breakout player.
Yeah, I agree with that. Michael, Macon, are you all jumping in or want to jump in?
You go ahead, Michael.
Offensively, I guess again, it's like, it's all about the definition, but I say Justin Jolie on offense. I think he's going to be a really big part.
That's a good one. Yeah. See, again, a breakout in a different definition.
I know. It's like,
it's a
not for us.
well, yeah.
Well, Well, but also too at UConn, I wouldn't say he was like a star. He wasn't a stud. He wasn't featured a lot there, and because unfortunately he was around, he was on a bad team. So it's hard to really break out if you're losing a lot. If your offense isn't on the field that much, if you're going 3 and out a lot, you're gonna have a hard time breaking out. So yeah. Macon, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I would want to define the breakout thing, because to me, you could have a guy. Are we talking like a rookie? We're talking like a rookie, or are we talking about someone who potentially isn't a rookie?
Either or. Give
Okay,
your answer
so
Yeah.
I like the running back pick, Leighton. I think that is something I know people know who Jordan Waters is. I don't know. I think Smothers is going to have to figure it out. I like this Jaden Scott, the Duke Scott pick. I do think the natural one's going to be like, who is going to be the guy wide receiver 2? Does like Dakari Collins take another step forward, and that's like a breakout for him? I mean, I think that could be something like that there. I think, to me, I think between the 3 of Paylor, Grimes, and Rogers, I'm going to be curious. I think one of those guys will. I'm kind of skimming over each of these. Joe Lee, I could see that being a really good player who could break out too. I could see him maybe needing a little bit of an adjustment. But the guy that actually kind of came to mind, and it's is not an offensive guy, because I feel like you guys are kind of picking that. I'm gonna go the other way, and he's not a freshman. I'm going to go Brandon Sisse. I think he can. I think he could really break out, because you've got
playing time next year.
Aiden White back. He got playing time, and he's going to, I think, maybe be the starting corner. And depending on how that goes, I think he could really have a good season, because if Aiden White's back, they're going to probably throw his way. And he has a chance.
It's not on. Yeah.
Aiden White's not on. It's probably going to go. If maybe it's him, maybe it's Corey Coley. I just don't know. Corey Coley. There's Tamarcus Cooley, who is going to be like nickel or safety, and then there's Corey Coley, who's going to be corner. Is it him, or is it like a guy like Devin Marshall? I kind of feel like one of the corners is going to break out, and I kind of want to go Sisse, because he's been a year in the system. I know we got Villanova's corner, Devin Marshall, but I want to go Sisse, because I feel like the easy pick is on offense. I want to go Sisse.
Yeah, I like that.
You could say Sean Brown too, moving to linebacker.
I thought it, right? I mean, but I don't know. I feel like people don't really kind of sleeping on Sisse, because it was Battle and White last season.
Yeah.
And so I think that the playing time Sisse got is going to be big, but I did think about Sean Brown. Like, he could be like, it could be a thing where he gets to linebacker and you're like, whoa, like this is a whole
like
kind of Sean Brown.
He probably wouldn't fit in that category if he stayed at safety, but
right.
He's playing a new position. It could,
exactly. Yeah. All righty. And then the other mailbag question we'll touch on here real quick. How concerned are you right now about Pac-9 pitching after 6 games? And 2 things I'll immediately say to it, Michael. 2 things I'll immediately just get out of the way. The elephants in the room for me, I think the easiest ones, and is first of all, you're 6 games in, you're 2 series in. It's still ridiculously early in the college baseball season, but to make really any long-term thoughts on the team so far right now. And then secondly, I would say, I think mostly you've seen a lot of younger pitchers get most of the pitches over the last 6 games. You haven't seen like Logan Whitaker. You haven't seen him really at all. You haven't seen really any of the senior guys this year, through 6 games so far in terms of relievers. So I'm not really worried yet. But also too, I would say as well that, I mean, because keep in mind that pretty much for a series, the same umpire crew will just basically run that series and they'll just rotate. So basically what I'm saying is that, I mean, coaching, training can determine a lot. And so, there's always going to be a little bit of adjustment of strike zone, length. Some are going to give more pitches. Some are not going to give you as many pitches. Just, again, I'm not really going to say much besides Drew said right here. Van Dam balled out, like
Yeah.
super impressive outing for Van Dam, Shane Van Dam, absolutely. So go ahead, Michael, please.
Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of the older guys you're more concerned about.
Yeah,
than
no,
the
I'm
younger
concerned
guys.
about
Like,
I'm concerned about Highfill a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
Highfill and Fritton haven't looked great. A lot of walks. Van Dam, Jackson Lucas, who else? Dudan. I mean, all the
Marone.
younger guys have looked. Marone, they've all looked better, really. Which you don't think that, but that's. I don't know. I like you said, it's too early to be overly concerned, but yeah, I mean they gotta figure it out. It's like,
yeah.
Well, the main thing I think is walks. I mean, there was a lot of walks, a lot of free bases, and sometimes like you said, the umpire crew can determine that a little bit from what it sounded like. The zone was real small against Hawaii, but
You got to learn their pitch zone and everything.
Yeah, but no, I mean it's definitely something to watch. But yeah, like I said, it's kind of the older guys you're more concerned about right now than the younger ones, which don't think that normally. But
yeah, and I was actually wrong too. Logan Whitaker has played 6.2 innings, and he's not doing great.
Second game
either.
against Hawaii.
But you haven't seen like Wynn Scott,
no Wynn Scott, no Carson Kelly.
No Carson Kelly yet. Garrett Payne hasn't been in either. I don't believe.
I don't think Jacob Halford either. So yeah,
nope.
I think
nope.
I mean, maybe it's. I don't know if it's Avent thinking that let's pitch the younger guys early and get them some experience, and then we know what we have in the older guys, or if it's like these younger guys are better options already than our older guys. But we'll see.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm looking up here on some stats. I'm seeing like State's got top, the worst ERAs so far through 6 games. State's got 4 of the top, the I guess the top worst pitchers in ERAs. So you've got Britton, Highfill. I'm trying to look up here. Where is it at? It was Britton, Highfill.
Probably good either.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, he's definitely in there.
Logan Whitaker is the 3rd worst in ACC right now at 8.1 ERA. Sam Highfield's at a 6 even, probably like around 8th in the ACC. Dom Fritton is right around 10th in the ACC at 5.6, and then you got Ryan Marone at 3.2. But we all say Ryan Marone looked pretty good. So, yeah, and I don't know. I just get. That's from an ERA perspective. That's not great. But I'd be curious what innings pitch looks like too.
But yeah, I do agree with Drew's also comment that right now State's given up a total of 41 walks while only recording 51 strikeouts. So it's definitely not a really good walk to strikeout ratio right now that you're seeing. So yeah, definitely concerning. But again, like if I were to tell you how concerned am I with in-state pitching right now, I'd say like 2 or 3. Like there's some concern for sure, but it's not a thing like, oh boy, like this is
here we go.
For 6 games in the season, right? I mean, we won the series. It's this is the kind of game you want to figure it out. We talked about how who did Hawaii beat earlier in the week?
Well, they faced Ole Miss.
They split with Ole Miss.
With Ole Miss, they got a game against Ole Miss, right? So they're not good. They're not the worst team in the world, but it's something that they've got. You're so early in the season that it's like, okay, I don't know if you should be freaking out about it right now. So, especially if it's young playing well, the thing is, it's concerning is your older guys, right? So Dom Fritton, Sam Highfill, they need to be Logan Whitaker. They need pitching better.
Yeah.
We just had a bad week.
Yeah, and Preacher Man brings up a great point that I mean, right now you have 7
our offense
batters.
is great.
Yep. You have 7 batters right now with at least 10 at bats to have over 300 batting average right now.
Yeah.
So
our offense is fine.
Yeah, offense.
It's like the
fine.
Braves.
Yep.
They're like the Braves. Our offense is fantastic. Our bullpen needs a little help. It's all right.
Yeah, and then and then some concern with errors as well. Yes, 9 errors in 6 games is not necessarily where you want to be either. It's not great, but again, y'all, I think we're still so early that let's see where we stand. Let's give it a little bit more time before we really start to jump off the ledge here.
And
Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
And just those 2 series against BCU and Hawaii, those are tougher opponents than we normally play, or at least have played the last couple of years in non-conference. So,
True. Good point.
It's good to get out of there with both wins, both series wins.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. So, anyway, y'all, so let's jump on over here real quick to some Tuffy's tweets of the week. Here we go. All righty. So the news came out that NC State is officially in the game in EA Sports College Football 2025. And first of all, before anybody comments it, this what do you call it? Front page
Artwork,
of cover card is not the actual cover for the game itself. Even though
but it could be. But it could be.
Could be.
Philip Rivers.
We're not saying it isn't.
Front.
We're not saying it isn't. But we aren't saying it.
I'm saying I think that this would happen about the same time that pigs fly. I'm just saying.
I think we need the audio clip from Dumb and Dumber where he says, "So you're saying
There's a
chance?"
Yeah. Yeah, so but again, it would be awesome. But anyway, though, so I wanted to bring this up because I think it was Lockdown Wolfpack put out like a great thing, talking about what were their predictions were and
What
other people's
ratings.
predictions were on ratings for players. So I wanted to ask you that. I mean, I think it was pretty much a consensus that Aiden White would be the highest rated defensive player, and then Kevin Concepcion be the highest offensive player. Would you both agree with that, or would there be other guys that you would say could be higher?
Probably.
Let me look real quick.
Aiden White defensively for sure.
Davin Van's gonna be pretty good up there too, though. I don't know. I agree. It probably is Aiden White, but Davin Van's gonna be up there.
Aiden.
Yeah,
it's probably Aiden White, and then
I think Grayson McCall will be. I think KC will be like a point or two higher than
I don't think
Grayson
it'll
McCall,
be like
but he's probably second.
I think Waters will be up there.
Think so?
Yeah.
Waters had didn't he have 1,000 yards at Duke? So
yeah, he did.
So he'll be up there, I think. So it won't be, but he'll be one of the better ones. But yeah, you're right. It's probably KC and White.
Yep, I agree with that. Okay, yeah, and so it'll be interesting. And so I saw this great tweet. Actually, 2 of them that were because I basically asked like, when you get the game, what's going to be the first game that you do when you go to screen, you do play now. What game are you playing? And 2 people actually Alabama. No, but 2 of them were revenge games. One was getting back against Kansas State, and that was mine because I was like, that still sits me a little bit. We shouldn't have lost that game to Kansas State, man. But then the other one was I'm playing UNC, putting them on beginner and seeing how high the score limit goes. I'm like, oh, I love it.
Yeah.
UCLA would be mine.
Yeah, I saw UCLA also.
Yep. So, but definitely. And by the way, Carson and North, we'll definitely talk softball here in a second. So, we'll get there momentarily. But Carson's saying they'll probably put Nick Saban on the cover, and rightfully so. They should.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense, and rightfully so. Yeah.
I guess.
Right.
I guess whatever.
I'll still buy it.
Oh, I'm totally. Heck, I still got NCAA football 14, and I really should have.
I only own like an old GameCube, but I get them like getting. Yeah, that's all I own. I don't really play video games, but
I don't think they have that on YouTube again.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm kind of lame.
Megan's gonna make the 30-minute drive over to my house every night to play with me. So
yeah,
I feel like that's gonna be so cool.
Seeing
all the uniforms, seeing Carter Finley, like an updated version of Carter Finley, and like, oh, it's gonna be so sick. It's gonna be so cool. But because the trailers have looked really cool too, so I'm excited. But
ready to win a natty.
Yeah, no, 100%. So anyway, but yeah, bring up our next tweet of the week. So announcement that spring practice officially starts tomorrow with the spring game being once again that first Saturday in April. And again, I'm excited for it. And I think I saw as well. I didn't put this as a tweet of the week, but there was like some updates I think provided by the Woolpacker on jersey numbers. And I think Grayson McCall picked number 2. No Rogers picked number
really?
5. Yep, no Rogers picked number 5. Terrell Anderson at 80. Yeah, 80.
I didn't see that. I didn't check that out. I didn't see that tweet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Justin just said he's number 15.
Who is it? Justin who?
Joey.
Oh, number 15. Okay.
Mhm.
That's interesting for a tight end. So I like it though. But yeah, and do we have anybody famous wise at number 2? Or would Grayson McCall be really...
Jalen McClendon was number 2.
Oh man, Jalen.
Jalen McClendon was number 2. Rashard Smith was number 2.
Ooh, my guy, Rashard Smith.
Yeah, that's about it.
So-
that's about it I can think of.
Okay, so I mean, so hey,
Jalen Scott was number 2 last year, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
Yeah. Yes, he was. So yeah, but the point being is that hey, Grayson McCall, if he can go and win an ACC title and take us to the playoffs, then hey, number 2 is yours, my man. It's all yours. Just saying, nobody's gonna fight you on it. So just want to throw that out there. But anyway, though, so real quick, gotta give a huge shout out to softball here, real quick, since North and Carson brought it up here. But I loved this tweet here by Ann Hirschfield, who is the the SID, basically the person in charge of all the media stuff for softball and I think another sport or two, whatever. And she basically put out this tweet saying, few things to note. 11 consecutive wins for in-state softball marks the longest win streak since 2014. 12-3 is the best start in program history while under the direction of a first-year head coach. 32 stolen bases marks the most since the 2022 season, which actually that's not really that impressive, but I like it. And then
yeah. Wait, so they did it last year or 2 years?
2 years ago? Yeah. Well, maybe
well,
she means
I guess
like
it's
for
early.
the whole season. Well, yeah,
yeah, that is impressive.
Yeah, because I was about to say the season
Okay.
started.
Okay, yeah.
We read that wrong. That's on us.
That makes it more impressive, yeah.
Well, and I guess maybe she could have worded it a little differently, but yeah, 32 stolen bases, which already is more than what the 2022 season had for the entire season. And then we have 3 players that combined for 16 home runs through 15 games. So again, like I definitely can't say enough about how I have said that Lindsay Leftwich, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when she takes us at elite level. And there really was no question in my mind that this team was going to be competitive this year in the ACC. They, and I think that they are showing that they're exactly that. Like, now are they playing top 25 teams? Are they playing teams to the caliber like they're going to face in ACC? No, probably not. But they're showing consistent offense. They're showing abilities to not hurt themselves. They're showing some great pitching. They actually have one pitcher who I think had 8 strikeouts, which is a school record in one game. So again, so just huge shout out to this team. Excited to see what this team can do, and love what I've seen so far from them. At starting off this season 12-3 out of the gate with a brand new head coach. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So
impressive start.
Absolutely. And Michelle saying it best. Lindsay was a great hire, and so far, couldn't agree with you anymore. So, want to bring up also got to give a shout out to our favorite mascots, Mr. and Miss Wolf. And congrats on their upcoming anniversary here on Wednesday, actually, which I think is their 40th anniversary. I think no, it's not their is it 40th? Yeah, 40th anniversary. So, yeah, so huge shout out to Mr. and Miss Wolf on their 40th wedding anniversary. Huge shout out to them. So, gotta give love where love is due for sure. And again, it's a great reminder once again that Mr. and Miss Wolf can remind you that the secret to any great marriage is communication.
NC State sports
is a subscription to Tuffy.
That too.
Yeah, exactly. But let's get to the real meat of it here. Keeping with the positives. We'll get to the negatives, don't worry, but you got to continue with the positives here. Got to build up so that way hopefully the negative won't beat us down too far. So anyway, so over the last 7 days, y'all, we have officially had 3 different teams win an ACC championship, with men's swimming and diving winning their 3rd straight 3 years in a row. NC State wrestling going undefeated in the ACC and winning the regular season championship, and which is now the championship they won 6 of the last 7 seasons. And the NC State gymnastics winning the first ever ACC title in over 40 years, and being also the first ever undefeated ACC regular season champion, now going 6-0. So again, y'all, we say it all the time. It is a great time to be an NC State fan. And with gymnastics, you're watching, like, if you go to NC State gymnastics meet this weekend, this Saturday at 4 p.m., you're going to see now inarguably the greatest gymnast in NC State history, in Emily Shepard. You've gotten an opportunity to see Peyton Wilson, arguably one of the greatest defensive players that we've ever seen. In my opinion, without a doubt, the greatest linebacker we've ever seen. You also have been able to see Diana Schneider, who right now is killing it in the pros at the ATP level, but I think inarguably is one of the great, like one of the most talented tennis players to ever play at NC State. You also have Caitlin Tui, who's I think, in my opinion, arguably the greatest student athlete to ever compete at NC State. So again, y'all, it's a great time to be an NC State fan. Make sure to go and soak it in, y'all. Between all this that's going on, between softball, you name it, it's a great time to be a State
The
fan.
gymnastics meet is the same time that we go play at Carolina. So if you need something to boost your spirits, put it on gymnastics.
I love it that you put that 2 and 2 together, Kenzie. You're the best.
Put it on gymnastics.
You're the best.
Just
Yeah,
throw it
y'all.
out there, because I know I'll be doing it.
Yeah. And I love North's comment here saying, I never thought I would care about gymnastics, but now I'm a huge Wolfpack gymnastics fan. Went to the last 2 meets against UNC and Clemson, and man, what a 2 to go to for sure. And yeah, again, like right now they're sitting at number 21 in the country, and I only see it going higher. This team isn't going to compete for a national title, but I think that, if they can get to the final 16, which has never been done in the history of the program,
that's a win.
That's
that'd
a
be
huge
huge
win right there.
Yeah.
Huge win right there. Huge win. And again, solidifying the greatest gymnast in NC State history in Emily Shepard. Huge shout out to her. So, and then also a huge shout out to the wrestling match as well. Preacher Man saying, how incredible was that wrestling match? Reynolds was incredible. It was rocking. I lost my voice, and Kai won. What a ride. Yeah. So I mean,
that was a comeback.
It was great. I was a little nervous there for a second, just for a second.
I was never nervous.
Yeah. Well, definitely.
What's our record going to be this upcoming season? Is it going to be
12-0?
12-0, yeah.
Actually, we're winning a natty, so add a couple more games in there too.
Yeah, 15-0.
Period.
What? In football? Yeah.
I'm just saying, like she said, she's never nervous. I'm like, yeah, I'm. Of course you weren't. You always picking us to never lose. So,
and
I love it.
Not.
That's right.
You can make money how you want to.
Never lost.
Never lost.
Never lost.
In my eyes, they're all winners.
You go, Kens. But yeah, so anyway though, but I don't know if y'all saw it either, but if you haven't checked out the short 2-minute clip on our YouTube channel, make sure to go and check it out. But I unfortunately wasn't able to be there, as my in-laws were in. My brother-in-law was in town, so we were hanging out with him that night. But apparently there was these NC State students, I'm assuming, that were up in the corner of Reynolds and were just smack talking like crazy the entire time. And it's hilarious because you can, like, if you actually watch the match back right after Ryan Jack's match hit 0, so we officially win the duel. Kevin Jack, one of our assistant coaches, and Tommy Gamp, 2 of our assistant coaches, literally turned to the guys just to wave at them, just to taunt them, be like, yep, see ya, we got you beat, see you later. But I'm like, man, for the assistant coaches to literally go at them, like, that's hilarious, man. That Trent Hidlay was going at them, all the red-shirted wrestlers were going at them. It was great. like that's why you love wrestling. That's why you love college sports right there, in my opinion, man, because it is so much fun to talk that smack. It is great. Preacher Man saying Trent blew kisses at them. No, he gave them the you're number
so
1,
funny.
but he used the finger in between these 2 fingers, if you catch my drift here.
Yes, he should.
So yeah, it was.
I'm loving our
hilarious.
athletes just not caring lately.
Should
An attitude.
should no, but I mean, hey, you know, he's in my opinion one of the top 5 wrestlers to ever come to NC State. So I'm not really gonna say one bad thing about it. So, at the end of the day, they started it. So not saying that justifies it even still, but
that was such a
but,
kindergartner
you know,
thing to say.
he
They
started it. Yeah, no, exactly. But alrighty, let's not waste any more time, y'all. Let's get to it here. Obviously, women's basketball going down this today. Announced that they dropped all the way to number 12 in the AP poll, coming off of 2 back-to-back losses to UNC and to Duke. And making, you know, you're definitely, you know, one of the big basketball guys for us. I know you love basketball through, but I mean, to me, this honestly goes to more of just maybe that leadership wise, maybe we weren't as strong as we thought. That's really kind of where I am with it.
I mean, State was not picked or preseason to be this world-beating team. They're playing above right now where they were projected. So,
but Macon, don't draw that conclusion. Don't do that. You get embarrassed by UNC, and then you come out and get your break speed off in the first quarter by Duke. Like, come on.
Oh, I mean,
that's
they were
leadership right there, man.
They were. I mean, I agree, but like, my thing, I don't know. That's probably a fair point, but it's they're not getting I don't know. Maybe it's a bad week for them, but losing to UNC and Duke, on the road on both games is tough. And did you guys see the thing where like Maddie Cox like forgot her jersey to random?
Oh,
Did
totally.
you see that?
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
So stuff like that, I don't get it. I mean, you know, you have players like Madison Hayes, Isaiah James, who's been there now a year or two, so it's like she should be stepping up. I don't know. I don't know, man. I think there is some leadership there you're talking about, Layton, that I think is absent right now, and they need to get together. Personally, I mean, maybe that needs to be River Baldwin. Maybe that needs to be whoever. I feel like Madison Hayes could be that person for this team, but that's just me. I don't know, man. I think it's got to come from Isaiah James or Madison Hayes, in my opinion. Sure, River Baldwin, maybe Mimi Collins, maybe, but I really think Madison Hayes and Isaiah James are the 2 girls who need to step up in that regard.
Yeah. I think I saw Madison Hayes was 1 for 9 from 3,
right? And that's
in
just
the 2 games, and you know she was shooting close to 45% or something earlier in the season. So, and Wes Moore doesn't use his bench a lot. I mean, that's not like he relies on his stars, his starters, and he puts a lot on them. And you know, when they're not playing well, like this last week, it's tough. You know, I can't say like he should use his bench more. You know, I mean, Zoe Brooks definitely plays. She gets a lot of good minutes. But he's never really used a bench. You know, he's ride or die with his core group of players, and I don't know. You can't really fault him for that. He won a lot
Hayes,
doing that.
Yeah, Madison Hayes is 5 for 18 the last 2 games, and it's not going to cut it. She shot 16.7%. I mean, I didn't even say Sanaya Rivers. I mean, beside it, Sanaya's kind of had decent games. She said she's in double figures. The last 4 games, she almost cheated 13-8 against Duke, 13-5 and 3 against UNC. But I think the point you're making is big. Like it probably is a leadership thing. Totally. And I mean, like Isaiah James didn't. I mean, she's putting up points, but it's just where's the heart in it? You got to come there and set the tone, and you're not really. It's a mentality thing, right? So.
Watching them all season, they looked like a completely different team against Carolina and Duke. Like they just seemed frustrated the entire time. They didn't seem together. It was kind of like watching last year's team where they were focused on not working as a team, but working for themselves. So like, I don't know if that's just because the opponents, the rivalry there, or if there's a deeper issue, but I'm ready to get back home and see how they bounce back, because that's one thing about the girls. Like I never really worry about them bouncing back from losses like that. So
yeah, I'm looking here at the stats. There's not a lot of the shooting is not terrible. The 3-point shooting is not great, but
Our 3-point shooting against Duke.
I would say, yeah, six assists is something that to the credit of their 12 is something that stands out to me. 32 points in the paint for Duke to our 20. That's not great either.
But again, go ahead, Michael. Make your point. Yeah,
we're letting the other teams dictate
to us
the game.
And we just our second half drives me insane. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go.
No, you're good. No, I'm just
we're
this
all
is the thing
thinking the same thing.
Bring back Peter Griffin. You know what really grinds my gears?
Absolutely. Yeah,
You know what really grinds my gears?
and that's a lack of leadership, man. Like seriously, because going into that UNC game, if I'm in that locker room, I'm saying you are going to get UNC's best. You better buckle.
Yeah.
You better. In football terms, you better buckle up your chin strap.
Basketball,
you better lace your shoes tight.
You better
tie those shoelaces.
Yeah, because they're gonna be ready. They're gonna be inspired. They're gonna be fired up for that game. And they didn't come. They came out and on the defensive side, a lot of mental lapses. Again, that's the thing. I have no issues when you're putting the effort out, when you're mentally locked in, you play a good game, but you just end up not being the better team that game. That's completely understandable. But in situations where you basically just leave people, I mean, again, how many times, like I was there in person, but I heard Debbie Antonelli literally make comment like every single one of UNC's threes, they're wide open. Like they're just not being challenged. And it's just, that's the super frustrating thing. And then the Duke side, I mean, come on. Like you just got embarrassed in Carmichael at UNC. And then so how do you not that entire buildup over those couple of days say I was unacceptable. That is not how we're going to start. We're going to set the tone early. We are the better team. Duke does not deserve to be on the floor with us, and we're going to go out there and show it right here, right now. And because yes, Duke, they're a solid team, but we're the much more talented team. We have been playing a whole lot better this season. There's no reason we shouldn't have won comfortably against Duke. There's no reason we shouldn't have won comfortably. That's a frustrating thing for me. So because again, I just like you were saying, Kens, I tweet out after UNC game, I'm good. I'm not sweating this whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know, Westmore's teams, they don't let losses beat them twice. Well, they let the game beat them twice.
It's just
they let UNC beat them twice.
The thing that irritated me was the lack of rebounds, just like mental errors, like the amount of turnovers. It's like you don't see that from our women. So like I don't know if it's just them getting in their heads about being number 6 in the country and then that biting them, or if there's something deeper to that. We'll see.
Does it really just grind your gears though?
It does.
Man, Macon, dude, I think I might have.
Peter Griffin's a great character. Dude. He's so funny.
Yeah,
so funny.
yeah. But guess what, y'all? Like you ain't got much time to think about it because now you got Syracuse coming to your house on Thursday.
2 home games left.
2 home games left.
Reynolds will be that 6 man.
And I think they're gonna need the fans to help them with this, right? They need to get on the right track. They're gonna need
say less.
Yeah. But I mean, because now you need to beat Syracuse if you want to try to lock in that top 4 seed and get that double bye. So now you need to beat Syracuse.
I think if we win out, we're the 2 seed.
Okay,
we'll have the tiebreaker over Syracuse, and then if we lose one, I think we'll probably be the 3. And then if we lose both, we might not. I think we could fall to like 5 or 6 if we lose both.
Yeah,
because Syracuse right now is 13-4 and we're 11-5. So yeah, you're right. Because then if we beat Syracuse, then we'll be tied record wise, but then we'd have the tiebreaker. So yeah, you're right. So we'd have 2 seed, which is great. But then if we lose, I mean, like literally 1, 2, us, Louisville, Notre Dame, and FSU are all 11-5 right now.
Yeah.
So
it could go a lot of different ways.
It could go either way. A complete 180.
I think. We do have the tiebreaker over Notre Dame and Louisville though, because we only played them once and we beat them, and FSU. That's right. Yeah. Okay. So we are in a decent spot.
Yeah,
so I wonder if maybe the thing is, did we peak too early? Maybe, are we playing our best basketball a little too early? I mean, to me that comes back to coaching, right? Like you have to be able to get these girls in shape. That should not be an excuse. But I do know that teams have chemistry and teams ride momentums and that ebbs and flows. And so maybe this is the lull they need going into the postseason to kind of come back on an incline, right? So, but maybe they played their best basketball a little too early in like December, January.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good point.
Although they did lose to Virginia Tech twice, so there you go.
All right, Macon.
But they're really, really good. So that's a good team to lose to, I guess. So
yeah. And then let's talk a little bit of men's basketball as well, as since we last had our live show, we lost to Syracuse at 87-83, where we gave up 55 points in the first half, and then came back and had a solid win against Boston College, 81-70 on Saturday afternoon. And looking at the Florida State game here tomorrow night, 9 p.m. at FSU. My opinion, it's a must win. I mean, I think you honestly have to win out at this point.
I don't think anything isn't a must win at this point.
I think you got to win out. Yeah, you got to beat FSU.
You might not win out, but it's like every loss now, it's just going to make it worse.
I think you can either lose to Carolina or Duke. You can't lose both those, and you have to win the other ones.
But again, I think unfortunately now, but I mean, unless Miami can pull off this upset against UNC, which I mean they're very close. Miami's only down by 2 with 30 seconds left in the game.
Oh, they came back. They were down 12 with like 4. I was
Pause the live stream, please.
Yeah.
No pains.
I think you need that win, that win to stand on. I think UNC, with where they are in the net rankings right now, it will be a much more impressive win than Duke. So, but
that's why
they're having a media timeout for Armando to tie his shoe.
Of course. I mean, I think I think, yes, you need to win. Obviously, you need to win as many games as possible. I think the only scenario where you can drop a game, I think, is actually this Florida State game. Because if you go win at Carolina, home against Duke, and then at Pitt, 3 in a row, all quad 1 wins, I think that's more impressive. But I don't know. It's a long shot either way. So
I just want to say this: even if we win all 4, I'm still not really confident we're making the tournament.
No. If we make,
I don't put trust in the committee at all.
No, if we win all 4, I guarantee that if we win all 4, but we're not going to win all 4.
If we win all 4,
if we do, I guarantee we'll make it. That'll give us 5 quad 1 wins. That's hard to pass up.
Guaranteed though is big for
yeah. I was going to say
we got to win 4 in a row first before my guarantee kicks in. But if we do, I guarantee we'll make it.
I don't. But I mean, let's be real, y'all. I mean, giving up 55 to Syracuse, giving up 8 points.
Yeah, that one was
killer. One player in the first half. Like, unfortunately, Keats is he's not making my job any easier, man. To trying to get fans to stick with him, man.
He's spending more time on Twitter than he is.
Well, and again, I don't like that either. I don't like that he blocks fans. I will stand by that. There's no reason that coach should block fans. Just mute them. There's no reason to block them. But
block them. I don't care. I don't care what my coach does. It's
well, again, but it's just like at the end of the day, no matter if they're hating on you or not, like they're fans of yours. But again, like that's not something I really want to spend much time on. But anyway, but at the end of the day, giving up 55 points to a Syracuse team in one half, like that's just completely, absolutely unacceptable. There's no two cents about it, So frustrating times. Went out to give you a solid chance, but I mean, you're hoping you can pull off, if you can go 2-2, that I think 2-2 honestly is the bar. Like I'd be surprised if you go 3-1. I'd be shocked if you go 4-0. I'd be blown away if you go 4-0. So anyway though, but all righty. Moving on here real quick. Also 2 news came out today of our most recent commit here. Linebacker Auburn transfer Cam Riley. Announced today at 1:00 on the Inside Pack Sports Zoom call that he is picking NC State over Florida State. And Macon, what was your initial thoughts when you saw this commit, man?
Really good player. He's a guy he's huge from like a size length standpoint. I think he's 6'5" at linebacker. For reference, Peyton Wilson 6'4". So I don't
Yeah.
know what his weight is, but he's pretty
I think he's
long, rangy dude.
240. So right
240,
about
man.
he's almost exactly, he's about an inch taller than Peyton. But
Yeah.
big weight.
Yeah, I think it's a guy who is going to play a good amount. To what degree, I don't know. But I mean, that linebacker room now is so many options. You're gonna have Fordham, Betty, and now
Sean
Brown. Yeah, but then you've got Riley there, and
White Wright, the JUCO guy.
White Wright. So they're gonna have some options there. And I think one thing, particularly with Wright and Riley and Brown, is they're going to want to play fast and hit hard. And I like that. I think Fordham and Betty are going to be more like, I don't know. I don't know that I could see them being like your Mike and your Sam linebackers, but maybe I'm wrong. But I think those other guys are going to have, it's going to be fun to see what they do on the linebacking core of that group now. But Riley is a good guy, big dude, big linebacker, and I like that a lot for the state. Gives him a little bit more size there. It gives him an option there. I wonder how he is in coverage. Because of that size, you would hope he would probably be pretty good there, but we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other big news happening today as well, where Alex Falk, aka Coach Sue, is coming over to NC State as the new head of recruiting at NC State. He came from Ole Miss, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
over to NC State. And then we also, too, the director of player personnel at Texas is now come over to NC State as well.
Shelton.
So Shelton. Yep. So I'm again. I've always said, that Doran has a comment that, if somebody leaves, I'm going to go find somebody better. And, not disrespecting at all the previous people before him, but it's more of just kind of a mindset there where, like, I'm not willing to take, a second tier coach. Like, I'm always wanting the best I can get. And I ideally want one even better than the guy I had beforehand, which I mean is a huge statement to say the least. But I mean, with his track record, and what Ole Miss is doing right now on the recruiting trail, I mean, huge shout out to Coach Doran to get a guy, with that experience. So love it. Great job. Great hire.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's big. He was, I think he was high school, like director of high school relations. So it's a step up for him in title and probably job responsibility. But anytime you can get somebody from an SEC school, especially with the way Ole Miss was recruiting, it's definitely a good addition.
Something just happened with the Miami UNC game, Ken?
Sorry. Armando just missed back-to-back.
Okay.
No,
So it's
giving Miami some life here, give them a chance, but they just fouled Miami immediately. So now Miami's down 3. They fouled them, so they only get 2. So they're gonna. I don't know if they'll take the shots here and try to make both of them, or they're gonna do one. I don't know what they'll do.
Try and hit the rim. But anyway, gotta give a shout out as well to Coach Spencer, our men's tennis coach, for notching his 100th career win at NC State. So huge shout out to Coach Spencer there on that achievement. And again, y'all, make sure, women's tennis, men's tennis, go support them as well, as there are also two teams that are competing at an elite level right now. And then one last thing, since we're kind of running a little quick and we have like a couple more minutes here, is I want to kind of do one more quick segment.
Really grinds my gears.
And that's really so when this whole thing came about storming court or whatever, it made me think about how kind of draw your attention back to when UNC stormed the field against Duke last year. And I basically put out this tweet being like, hey, college recruits out there, UNC storms the field when they beat a rival that they were a double-digit favorite against. We don't storm the court when we beat a team that has single-digit losses in the history of Coach Sweeney's, career at NC State in the ACC. Like when we beat Clemson, didn't storm the field. And so, and there was a certain account that shall not be named that particularly grinded my gears a lot when it came at me saying, like, what do you guys want them to do? Like, they're just students. They're just having fun. Are you against fans having fun? Are you against students having fun? Is that what you're against? I'm like, yes. No, but again, y'all, I always say it's a matter of what who are we as a program? Like, you know, and you may say, well, what does the fans have to do with that? And it's more of a statement of, you know, where are we as, you know, as a program? Like what, like is really beating Duke, who you were a double digit favorite against, no matter how, you know, no matter, you know, how you won or whatever that may be, like, is it really worth it? Like, you know, because to me, it basically put out a statement saying, hey, we're thrilled that we were able to win. But in my opinion, my reaction would have more been tucking my tail between my legs and walking out of there with the win and being happy that I got it. And because the other thing which I say to that, and to kind of prove my point, is what happened to UNC after that game? After that game, did, you know, they played 3 more games that season? Did they win all 3 of them? Did they win 2 of them? Did they win 1 of them? Nope. Oh, they lost all 3 after they stormed the field after beating Duke that they were double digit favorites against. Yeah. So it all goes back to the, you know, when there's a, like, the conversation that happens of, like, for men's basketball, for example, where there's like a conversation that starts to happen among students, like, all right, if we win, are we going to storm the court? Like, yeah, we're going to storm the court. It happens every single time. Like, should we storm the court?
And you have the students that are like, heck yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So for Wake Forest, I completely understand that even though you were actually favored for that game, you stormed the court. Why? Because then they Duke's top 10 team, and because it was a planting the flag in the freaking in the freaking court, being like, we are an NCAA team. Respect us already. Quit that crap. And I love it. and so, you know, again, just really grinding my gears that you know, people are like, oh, you're against fun. No, but I'm
No.
again, it's all about where are we as a bar? Is that really our bar? Like, oh, we're thrilled about beating a double digit, you know, favorite Duke. Come on, man. Like, we thank God you won that game. Thank God. My goodness. So, and I think it all showed itself after the season when we beat UNC, and what did Coach Brown say after the game? Like, yeah, we won 9 games. Like there's not many teams in the country, you know, like there's not many times in UNC history that they've won 9 games.
We should be happy about this. We should
be happy about this, even though we've lost to Clemson and NC State, like, you know, like with inarguably the greatest quarterback in UNC history, but we won 9 games. So yeah, nope. Thank you, Macon. Appreciate you making my point. So, oh, anyway,
really,
all right, y'all.
You're welcome.
I really grinded my gears. So,
You know, really grinds my gears.
yeah. Anyway, all right, Wolfpack Nation, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate it, and all the support has been amazing. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers, y'all. We are at just over 8,900 right now. We're at 8,936, so we are staring daggers at that 10,000 subscriber milestone, which would be absolutely phenomenal. So to help us hit that goal
by the end,
yeah.
If we get 10K by the spring game, we're winning the ACC championship in football. Mark it.
Oh,
Mark it right now. Y'all get to subscribe it.
Oh, I love it.
As
I love
DJ
it.
would say, get your grandma's
Your grandma.
Yeah. Get them all.
Make an account for your grandma.
That's right. Get them down here. So yeah, Wolfpack Nation, if you haven't already, please do us a big favor. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, as it is free to do, and it really helps support us a ton. And if you enjoyed this conversation, make sure you hit that like button, and make sure to give us a follow, Tuffy Talk Now, on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, y'all. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. We love you guys. Let's see what this thing can hold, baby. Go Pack, y'all. We'll see y'all soon.